Ahoy, swabs! Captain Jeff the Pirate here, at shared service. Welcome to another edition of Captain Jeff Reviews and Questions Adventure Time. Today's episode, Jermaine. The episode opens with Jake, the dog, having a dream about Lady Renicarn. When all of a sudden, he is plopped into some, very gray cube thing. And in the cube be his brother, Jermaine, wearing some kind of teddy bear suit. He figures since they're both dreaming at the same time, that's how they're able to communicate in the dream. And Jermaine appears to be in a wee bit of trouble. So after he wakes up from the dream, he goes downstairs and has breakfast with Finn, who'll be working on some weird, it's some kind of contraption of some sort. So they say, hey, let's go visit Jermaine. So off and away they go, and when they arrive at Jermaine's house, they find that, it's not Jermaine's house. It's Finn and Jake's old house. It's where they grew up in as with Joshua and Margaret. And just to make sure things are clear, this is to be a completely different house. This will be the house we've seen in the flashbacks in Finn's memory, but it's not the one place where Margaret and Joshua first had their investigation practice. It'd be not in the city and in an apartment. It'd be set up on some hill someplace. So yeah, it'd be out in the countryside. It'd be after, I guess, they started having the children. So anyway, they get there and they find the place. It'd be surrounded by all manner of demons. So things be looking off to a bit of a grisly start for our two heroes. And as they approach the house, there'd be like a circle around the house. It'd be composed of salt. And Jermaine be firing off arrows at the demons. And as they approach the salt, the demons aren't able to pass through it. So there'd be a wee bit of a shield there. So the inside of the house would be filled with various items that Joshua and Margaret have collected from cases and monsters and victories over the years. Apparently, the demon that made the original sired wasn't the first time Joshua had taken something from some nefarious creature. There'd be magical sticks. There'd be a sword, which is clearly the Buster Sword used by Cloud in Final Fantasy VII. There'd be external hard drives. There'd be various things around the house, but the house still be retaining some level of neatness. Anyway, there's even a demon in the basement, to which Joshua keeps imprisoned by constantly flipping a tape over and over in this, it's one of those bears that talks when the cassette tape is in the back, and it's generating some kind of force field. And all the demon wants, he says he wants his post-tar and then to seek revenge. Of course, that ain't gonna be happening. So Finn and Jake, they just tried to have a nice time and hang out with Joshua, who is their brother. But things don't go too well. They use some salt that is keeping all the demons out to garnish some of the cooked rice, which brings one of the demons in. Joshua, so then it comes in and they have to fight it, and Joshua, he suddenly starts to... He gets at the boiling point where he can't take it anymore. He openly yells at Finn and Jake and says, oh yeah, I'd love to hang out in a tree house all day and just goof around like you guys, but no, I have to stay here. I have to keep all Mom and Dad's stuff safe. I have to keep all the demons back. I have to do all this work while you guys are free to do whatever you want. So he actually gets into a fist fight and shouting match with Jake. Finn tries to stop it, but then a fire breaks out, and of course it escalates. So then Jake says, then it gets to the point, he's like, Dad always loved you more. Alright, so let's look at the facts here. So Joshua is the legitimate biological son of, Jermaine is the legitimate biological son of Joshua and Margaret. Jake is half monster creature or whatever, and half of his dad's DNA. And Finn be adopted human, so this was a very interesting family that grew up in that house. Alright, so, I don't know, maybe did Joshua, did he try to love Jake more because he was part monster and wanted to show him affection? Or is this just a side effect from him being part monster? Is Joshua suspect something, or was there really some parenting that favored one child over the other two? I don't know. Anyway, Jake eventually says, Dad only liked me. He loved us all equally, but he liked me because of my fart jokes. So then he goofs around. He makes some fart jokes, make Jermaine laugh, and then And then, of course, the whole house goes up in flames. After the fire, it'd be the next day, and all of our heroes have survived. But the question is, where are all the demons? Well, with all of their stuff now destroyed, they have no reason to come around the house. And then all of a sudden, the final demon that was hanging around, he comes up from the basement with his poster. And he just be on his merry way with Jermain, saying, "Arr, the sun, I want to destroy it." So, even though he's not going to destroy Jermain and his friends, he's still evil, but he has his poster, so it's kind of a balancing out. I thought this was a fairly good episode. I liked it because, alright, if you look very carefully, you can kind of get some subtle hints about a few things, like, we know that Joshua is now dead, but from the episode, I think this might maybe that Margaret has passed on. If it was before or after Joshua, I do not know, but we do get some evidence that she may no longer be with us. I also thought it was interesting the level of sibling rivalry. I mean, it's interesting because Finn and Jake, they are hanging out because they are brothers in a sense. It's kind of like how Jermaine and Jake would be brothers in the other sense. But so Jake went to... It's weird. Jake was a criminal, and now he's a hero, and he's hanging out with only one of his brothers most of the time, and not the other one. I think Jermaine, I don't know, maybe he was mourning the loss of his family, so that's why he was having to stay at the house. Or, I don't know, maybe the demons were something he couldn't fight, or they were too much for him, or, I don't know, he had some kind of harding issue. It was fairly interesting, but it showed how he was having some responsibility. This be a kind of a reoccurring theme, how Jake seems to be carefree and doing whatever he wants, but one of his kids, he has responsibility, and his brother has responsibility, so that'd be kind of the theme going off here that I take. But overall, I'd be giving this episode a 1.5 thumbs up. It was pretty good, and it was great to see Finn and Jake again, and it was interesting to see how the inner workings of the family are. And now that there's only 3 of them left, how they're going to have to try to be close together. So yeah, I don't know, like, now that the demons are gone, will they go find new stuff to get? Are they just as powerful, more or less, without their stuff? Will we be encountering that demon in the basement again? Who knows? It'll be a good episode, so I suggest you check it out if you get the chance. Well, that's all the time I have for this episode. I thank you for watching. Until next time, this be Captain Jeff reviewing and question Adventure Time, saying, "Arr!"